like to explain the underlying issue of why people, actually has a few issues, the reasons why people gain weight and cannot lose it, and what role colon hydrotherapy plays in improving health and vitality as well as losing weight. I'm Dr. Alexander Haskell. I'm a licensed naturopathic physician in the state of Utah, and I've been in practice for about 30 years now, and purification, detoxification is one of the foundations of my practice, which includes a therapy of colon hydrotherapy. So probably if you found this page, you're interested in about how to lose weight, and you've probably heard just about everything. I seriously wonder how many searches there are on Google per day just for weight loss, and you've probably heard just about everything, the magic cures of specific supplements or specific diets. And of course, exercise is important, but it's very frustrating when you're not feeling that energetic and you're a little bit heavy, and it's difficult to get out there to do the exercise. And what I've noticed over the years is that people will lose weight on certain diets. They will lose weight doing exercise, but they come to sort of a plateau or a threshold where they cannot budge another pound off, and they're not really yet to their ideal weight. So the question is, what are the reasons, what are the causes for weight gain and the inability to lose weight? And I would say, very generally speaking, I think probably most people would agree that it's due to a lowered metabolic rate of the body. Metabolic rate means the amount of energy expelled to produce energy in the body as well as in the cells. So, of course, diet does play a role in weight gain, most definitely. And it's primarily because of diets which are, lacking nutrients. Nutrient deficient foods is certainly an issue, as well as consuming various types of sugars and corn syrup, etc. And there's many reasons for that, which I don't think I'll get into now. Hippocrates, thousands of years ago, said there's two reasons for illness or disease, which I totally agree with what he said that long ago. And I also believe this is the cause. These two are the causes of weight gain. He said the first cause is nutrient deficiencies. And that really makes sense. If our cells are deficient in nutrients, their health, their metabolic rate declines. So certainly a lack of consuming nutrient-dense foods is one cause. Let's just focus on weight gain in this case, of weight gain. So then the other cause, which Hippocrates spoke about, was environmental toxins. And this makes sense as well, because these days we're being exposed to thousands and thousands of toxins in our environment, in our homes especially. And these toxins come into the body through our skin. We don't have time to get into cosmetics right now, through the lungs and through our intestinal tract. So any avenue where toxins are coming into the body tries to metabolize and excrete these toxins as best it can, but no person's body is 100% efficient in doing this. Therefore, these residues of toxins remain in the body and in the cells, basically. There's probably two different areas where these toxins are stored, either inside cells or in the fluid that bathes our cells, called the lymphatic fluid. So what happens when a cell absorbs these residues? And I'd like just to show a little diagram of a cell to kind of explain this a little bit further. So let's just say this is a cell. Doesn't matter what kind of cell it is. Let's say it could be a fat cell. Hope you can see that all right. Make it a little bit more. So first, I think the primary underlying issue is certainly nutrient deficiencies, and the cell becomes weakened over time by a lack of nutrients, and the cell's health starts to decline, which makes these cells even more susceptible to environmental toxins. So an environmental toxin enters into our cells, and these are thousands of different types of toxins. There is a part of the cell called the mitochondria. And some cells have many mitochondria. Fat cells have just a couple. Nerve cells have many of these mitochondria. These mitochondria are what drive the cell, what produce energy. Mitochondria have many different functions, but one of the primary functions is a production of energy called ATP. So these toxins probably infiltrate the whole cell, but research is showing, I don't know how they do this, they're identifying the residues of toxins inside the mitochondria. Now these could be environmental toxins, they could be residues from drugs, something as seemingly harmless as a lipid-lowering drug, Lipitor. They're finding these residues of these pharmaceuticals, especially psychopharmaceuticals, are getting into the mitochondria. So the function of that mitochondria declines, therefore the health and vitality of that cell declines. What happens when the vitality of that cell declines? The cell begins to slow down its function. So if it's a fat cells really have a few different functions. One is it stores fat, potential energy that the body can use to make glucose to balance our blood sugar. It's also for insulation, etc. But when these cells slow down their function, you cannot lose the weight. You can try exercising, etc., but eventually you'll come to a plateau. So the ideal then with restoring health and vitality and with losing weight is to get these toxins, first of all, out of the mitochondria and then out of the cell. That increases the energetics of that cell and it makes it easier to lose some weight. So first and foremost, provide your body and all your cells with the nutrients they require to function optimally. Even helping the cell to function at a greater rate is going to help kick out some of these residues. But various detoxification therapies, like colon hydrotherapy, is another way to flush these toxins out of cells. I'll talk about the colon in just a minute and the importance of the colon hydrotherapy. So we run a program, a purification program for people that come in with all kinds of conditions. It doesn't really matter what the condition is, whether they want to lose weight or whether they've got arthritis or chronic fatigue. Pretty much the platform for all the people is to go through the purification or through the detoxification program, which for many people who would like to do this in a more intense manner, we provide, or they provide for themselves, fresh organic juices. And those would have to be low glycemic. They can't be a lot of carrots and a lot of apples. They have to be mostly greens and wheatgrass juice. Flood the body with these nutrients, get those nutrients inside the cells. It'll start kicking out some of the residues, the toxic residues from the cell. People start feeling more vitality. In conjunction with supplying rich nutrients, there's three other therapies that we focus on. And I'll get to colon hydrotherapy. I know that's why you're here. Just be patient for a moment. Toxins are stored a lot in the fat cells just beneath the skin's surface, called the subdermal fat layer. If we can get those toxins out of those cells, the body will feel a great relief of that burden of toxins. The best way to get it out through that layer of cells is through the skin. So we use saunas, but we use an additive, so to speak, called ozone. Ozone is a little different than oxygen. Oxygen is basically two oxygens together, O2. Ozone is three oxygens that are matched together. As soon as the ozone is broken down, it goes on to form the same as this. It goes on to form O2 plus a single, what's called a singlet, or a single oxygen atom, which is it's called an oxidative atom, which helps to kill off bacteria and viruses and fungus and molds. So we use that inside the sauna because a little bit of the ozone is captured in the sweat and actually enters into the body, into the capillary bed, cleans up the blood, helps the blood to carry more oxygen, the red cells to carry more oxygen. That's one therapy for getting the toxins out of the cells through the skin. The other therapy we use is constitutional hydrotherapy, which is the application of hot and cold compresses to the chest and then to the back with what's called a sine wave, which helps to pump the lymphatic system. Most people's lymph fluid is full of toxins. In the body, there's a liquid in the bloodstream, there's a liquid within the cells, and then there's a liquid that bathes every single cell of the body, and that's the lymph fluid. And it becomes for many people like a swamp. We want to clear the lymph like the stream. We want to get fresh, like a fresh stream of fluid flowing through through the lymphatic system. And when our cells dump out these toxins into the lymph fluid, they don't hang around and be reabsorbed again. They want to be flushed out of the system. Constitutional hydrotherapy is an old naturopathic therapy. Dr. Carroll, Dr. Dick, who I study with, fabulous results. That's all they use, primarily nutrition, of course, but just drain the body, get the junk out of the lymphatic system. So let's go on to colon hydrotherapy. Colon hydrotherapy is, of course, a treatment that is, I want to call it a purification treatment, because that's what we're trying to do here, is to get the toxins out of the body. A purification treatment that is working primarily on the internal pathways of detoxification. So when garbage comes out of cells, goes into the lymph actually drains back into the bloodstream. The bloodstream then goes through the liver has to metabolize and capture and excrete those toxins. So here's the liver, comes down, and then there's the gallbladder, the small intestine. So toxins are filtered, they're dumped into the gallbladder for a particular reason, which I don't want to get into right now, and then that gallbladder pumps out the excretion from the liver, comes out and is emptied into the small intestine. It's very possible that some of this toxic waste, when it goes from the small intestine and comes back into the large intestine, it's very possible that these residues, toxic residues, will be reabsorbed back into the body again and sort of recycled. We don't want that to happen. So when a person is on a purification program, we use colonics to help this waste move through the system and out before it's reabsorbed again. There's other reasons for using colon hydrotherapy, because we have a lot of bacteria and parasites that are living in the bowel. And when the bowel moves very slowly, these bacteria and parasites just keep migrating back up into the same areas. They're difficult to get rid of. But there's something very special about what we do here, and I've learned over the years, and this is something you will not find in being used by any other colon hydrotherapist in Salt Lake City. This speculum, which we use, of course, disposable, fresh, sterile tubes and these speculums. In fact, we don't use this kind anymore, so I'll just show you here. This is a speculum that is inserted into the rectum. The large tube that goes through the machine is where the fecal material comes out of the person. Here is where the water, highly filtered water, pure water, comes and goes into the speculum, and slowly, very low pressure. There's no danger with this at all. Been doing this for 25 years. I've never had an issue with anyone thus far. Even something that diverticulitis, which you have to be careful with, much improved after getting those pockets cleaned out. So the speculum is inserted, the water gently goes up into the colon, the person feels a bit of an urge to evacuate. We open the stool and all the liquid go out through the machine. We have a illuminated glass tube. We can see what's coming out with people and give them a bit of information about what we see. It's evacuated out. They feel relaxed again. We close the valve again so it does not go out, and the water slowly trickles up, and hopefully each time it gets a little bit further on until we are getting the colon clean. Most of the bacteria and parasites in the colon do not require any oxygen. Obviously, they've gone all the way through through food and various things. You have to be careful with being a raw foodist. You're going to get some stuff coming in. You don't have hydrochloric acid. You're not going to burn up that bacteria. Or parasites. It's going to go all the way through the whole small intestine. By this time, these are what are called anaerobic. They can live just fine without any oxygen. You know, some parasites attach to the wall of the colon. They're feeding off the basically red cells and different nutrients that are coming into the colon. So what we do is the water that's coming from the filtration system, we introduce two things. One is pure hospital grade oxygen from a tank. We also have an ozone generator, which that oxygen passes through and becomes, oh, my diagram's gone, also becomes ozone at very low levels. Ozone coming into the colon will reduce those anaerobic bacteria that do not do well with oxygen. They die off. We had a lady who'd been, doing coffee enemas for quite a while, and of course she's getting some relief for symptoms, and like 2-3 times a week for a long time, and just normal stools were coming out from the coffee enemas. We had one treatment with a machine with, we let oxygen run for maybe half of the session. At the end, maybe 10, 15, 20 minutes, we'll do the ozone. She contacted me later that day and said, I don't know what happened, but I just passed 3 parasites about this long. There was no head on them, but I think what happened is that the ozone caused them to basically start peeling off or breaking apart. I don't think necessarily the head didn't attach yet, but pretty remarkable. Just the simple use of oxygen and ozone added to the water. The other thing which we do, and this is also unique and also very, very helpful, is that a lot of people with gut issues and purification, they have to some extent chronic inflammation. Leaky gut would be one example that is due to chronic irritation and inflammation in the gut. So what we do is, let's just say this is the person's lying on their side. I don't know how to draw this, but that's the person. They're lying on the bed. Here's their knees. Here's basically their ribs coming down. So over this area, we do what is called a castor oil pack, which is we rub castor oil on from the ribs, which is your liver's just under the skin here. We rub castor oil on the skin down to let's say just below the navel, and we put a saturated wool flannel cover saturated in castor oil. So we rub a little castor oil on, we put this wool flannel on top, a little piece of plastic, and then basically a large double-lined plastic bag that's filled with quite warm water. So this heats up keeps it heated, the castor oil. It will slowly seep into the skin. It's a great anti-inflammatory, great for bowels which have lost their tone. So that's the second thing that makes us unique. The third thing is that coffee administered rectally has some great benefits for the liver. The different, call them chemicals, they're not really synthetic, they're natural chemicals found in coffee. When that is inserted, when it goes into the rectum and stays sort of in the rectum, there is a particular vein, hepatic portal vein, which goes directly from that area to the liver. And it causes an opening of the vessels that pass through the liver. Those cells sort of open up, and it helps to clean the liver of debris that's been sort of stuck there for a long time. Also, an enzyme in the liver which helps to produce glutathione. The chemicals, natural chemicals and caffeine, when they go to the liver, will activate that enzyme and help the body. The body can produce its own glutathione, helps the body make more glutathione. Glutathione is important in a couple of steps, in a couple of detoxification steps, phase 1 and phase 2 of liver detoxification. There's different nutrients required in that physiology of metabolism, breaking down chemicals. Glutathione is in both of those, the phase 1 and phase 2 pathways. So at the end of the session, usually the person at the end will speculum's removed. They'll go into the bathroom just outside of this room. They'll probably have a little bit more bowel movement come in. They'll wipe themselves, clean themselves, come back on the table, and we insert a small capsule of concentrated organic coffee. And we insert that, or they insert it themselves. They leave it there for at least half an hour, and that will help liver function. So we are the best as far as colon hydrotherapy in Salt Lake City. If you would like to call us, we will certainly have our colon hydrotherapist contact you and let you know what's going on. You can schedule an appointment with her to also work at a nutritional program that will help to expedite or improve the outcome of a colon hydrotherapy. And then we have other things. We had talked about the ozone and the constitutional hydrotherapy that can also be incorporated into a full spectrum of a program to help you feel better, first of all, and also to lose some weight. I think that's about it. Oh, we do use one product at the end also. It's important to replenish bacterial flora after a colon hydrotherapy treatment. I really like this product. It is called Prescript Assist. It just came out maybe 10 months ago, somewhere in there. So there's different types or categories of probiotics. And this is in the category of what's called a soil bacteria. And partly what that means is when you take these capsules, the bacteria, the probiotic, the good bacteria, will actually stick in the gut and do its thing at protecting it from fungus and different types of bacteria. Other types of products, not so much colostrum, it has a similar way of staying in the gut, but most other probiotics are going to simply just keep kind of moving through, and they won't stick unless there is the soil there to begin with. So we provide the couple of capsules of Prescript Assist to take afterwards and a couple to take home to take later on that day. So I think that pretty much summarizes our program, and please call us if you have any questions. There's a little bit more information on a different page which you'll find below this video that you can click through and watch another video I did. It's probably not quite as informative as this one, but please call us if you have any questions. A little bit apprehensive about colon hydrotherapy. We can arrange. We try to have seminars maybe every 3 or 4 weeks per month, and just find out if we have a seminar about purification, about colon hydrotherapy. We'll go through the whole thing with anyone that wants to attend those seminars for free. So thanks for watching, and hope to see you. Bye-bye.